Welcome to the Beauty Business Strategies Podcast, where we give salon, spa, and med spa owners quick tips to make more money, inspire your team, and create world-class client experiences.
All right. Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Beauty Business Strategies Podcast. Again, my name is Michael Yost, and we're going to get a chance to hang out again together with another great guest. And that guest today is Aria Jayne, and she is the owner of Sucre Sugaring Studio. Aria, how are you?
I am great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. So here's, again, I always like to start the same place every time. For those that don't know you, give us just a little brief introduction of yourself, your business, where you're located. Give us a little bit of the facts.
Perfect. Sucre Sugaring Studio. We are located in Everett, Washington. It's about 30 miles north of Seattle. And we offer full body head to toe sugaring services. Brows, below the belt, above the belt. We're doing the full thing. So that's what we do.
There you go. Does not matter. If there's hair, we can help you.
Yep.
I love
hair,
it.
We got it.
I love it. So I think what's most interesting is, actually how this conversation kind of came about. It started with this. So for those that are not familiar with Aria, this started because she won our Momentum Award for 2022 at our most recent conference. And so, we like to we love to have conversations with award winners because there's always great stories behind it. And so especially someone that wins the Momentum Award. And again, a Momentum Award is meant for any business that we really feel is making great strides in a particular area. And it can be any number of areas. The point is, though, here's where I'm driving to, is what started as the reason to have the interview in a little prep call actually turned into a better reason to have a conversation. And what I found most fascinating as we started to have a conversation was I became most fascinated by where you came from and what got you to where you are now. And so what does that really mean for everyone's out there kind of scratching their head? What's that really mean? So give us a little bit. Let's start with what, again, first piqued my interest as just in our conversations. Where did you start in the professional world?
Before going into the beauty industry and ripping hair out of people, I was doing finance for the 787 program at Boeing, in a very corporate 9-to-5, Monday through Friday. You're wearing your dress slacks every day, and now I'm ripping hair out of people.
Right. I mean, I love it. And that's, what caught my attention, like, okay, I want to find out more than anything. I want to find out, how did we go from there to here? Because I think there's a real journey in there. And I'm fascinated to kind of talk a little bit more since I already kind of know some of the story as we kind of prep for this and just kind of getting familiar with each other on this. So talk a little bit, again, I think the thing that strikes me most is, okay, so you're in this very corporate environment. I would probably have to say in a company that from outside perspectives, and again, I'll speak maybe from most people out there, I don't know a lot about Boeing other than, wow, that's a multi-gajillion dollar corporation because they build jets and do all these cool things, kind of a deal. I would think that there would be like a component of security there, stability there, growth and opportunity there, financial growth there, every aspect. What was the thing that made you go, you know what, I want to go from there, as you so eloquently say, to ripping hair out of people? What was what was that transition about?
I honestly think it was a lot of who you know and who is in your community. I was really unfulfilled, really dreaded every day going to work, just sitting at a desk. I really like talking to people. I like being in relationship with people. And so just sitting there crunching numbers was not, I felt like using my skill set. But we do call it like having the golden handcuffs because Boeing has great benefits. You don't have to commute to Seattle. It's all very local in Everett. Um, it really is a great job for so many people. And it just was that about figuring out that balance between, do I want the study, those golden handcuffs? Am I okay with that? Or do I want to take a risk and do something that I really might love and enjoy and feel more fulfilled in? And so I was actually getting sugared by an esthetician, and she saw something in me and just said, if you are considering leaving Boeing at any time, let me know. I would love to train you, hire you, work with you, and really just kind of guide you up in this. And so it felt like too good of an opportunity to pass up. And so, talked to my husband, and luckily he was all on board. And so I quit Boeing. I went to beauty school at, gosh, I was 28 years old, and doing like a full pivot career change. My mom was very upset that I was not going to be using my college degree, but love you,
I was
Mom.
going to say,
Thank you.
I'm sitting here as a parent of one that's in college now, kind of going, and it's so funny. You just said it the way you did. I'm like, I'm sitting there going, all right, I'm going to support my kids no matter what. But there would be that moment of like, so we sent you to here and you got this degree and blah, 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 blah. And, but hey.
And not using it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like to think I got a lot of really great life skills from college. I mean, it did set me up for a career before this big change, but I'm still using public speaking, talking to people, I'm using the degree, just not in the way that they had probably initially hoped when they sent me off, you know. Yep. So,
well, hey, business though, in some ways though, I mean, business is business, right? I mean, you still have to, again, there's still those components that are like, listen, running a company is still running a company, as far as that goes. But, so going back, cause that's not the direction that's not what I'm fascinated to talk about. You brought up something though, that I am fascinated by: the power of this idea of fulfillment. You use the word fulfillment. It's just like, I wasn't feeling fulfilled in that career, no matter how great. Again, it was great. It had all kind of benefit this, benefit that. All those things are great. Probably enjoyed, again, like any work environment, loved some of the people you worked with, the whole deal. It probably wasn't anything that was bad, but like I said, there was something though that just felt disconnected, or just didn't feel like, wait a second, where is that fulfillment portion? So you said, you know what, I want to make a change, in my career from that perspective. So let's fast forward. Let's fast forward a little bit. All right. So if I were going to summarize, then obviously, as you were saying, you left at like 28, 29 years old, went back to school, learned the trade. As far as that goes. Now, did you end up then, you mentioned a person that initially kind of planted the seed for you. Did this person end up being any type of, did you go work for them? Would this person kind of be a mentor for you in some way, shape, or form? Kind of fill in a little bit of that for us. Yeah,
it's actually kind of comes full circle. She was an amazing educator, a really great boss. I worked for her for about 1.5 years as I was going through beauty school, and then a little bit after. And she's actually who introduced me to strategies. So I'd already known about them when I decided to go off on my own. I think it was really great. I loved working for her. It was really great. It was a little bit of a commute. And like I said, I love my community. I love the city of Everett. And so I really wanted to bring sugaring to Everett and really plant seeds and kind of give back and build relationships here. And so that's why I made the decision to leave. But yeah, she was an amazing mentor and, introduced me to strategies, which I would not be here where I am today without the help of strategies. So it's been really kind of full circle and really perfect.
Good. Awesome. So we now get to the point where you're saying to yourself, all right, I've learned a trade. I'm now ready. I want to, excuse me. I want to step out. I want to do, kind of start my own thing, right? Start my own company. So what was it that I'm still want to stay in this idea of, you left where you were for something greater than yourself, the fulfillment portion of that. I'm sure that probably was a continuing thought, idea, or theme behind opening your company. We open our company because, again, you even just kind of alluded to, It's like, hey, I want to bring a great service back to my community, and I want to do this, I want to do that. And yes, I want to open my own company, and again, that's certainly the benefits that, and then the dream of that. But I'm certain that that component of purpose was underlined in there for sure. Like, how did that craft your business? Give me a little bit of just your thinking, or how that comes to life in your business, maybe from when you started it up to like as you started hiring people. Like, where did that whole, give us a picture of that.
I think that's been my biggest struggle as a business owner. Was when I first started, I did not have the intent of hiring employees. It was really just seeking fulfillment, and I wanted to sugar people. I wanted to encourage, women to look and feel their best. I had really small, very humble dreams. And then it kind of just grew very naturally that I needed to hire people. And so I hired one employee initially. We kind of kept that going. And then we outgrew that and outgrew our space. So we hired two more employees, moved to a bigger space, hired a guest services. And through all of that, I never once stopped and said, what do I want this business to, be on paper? What do I want it to look like? Because it was always just me in the beginning. And so I didn't have any sort of solid foundation on, here's how to run a business, here's how to pay employees, here's how to know what you can pay employees, here's how to be the HR, everything all encompassing as an owner. And so that was definitely a struggle for me, learning just how to be a business owner to other people when my intention was just like, oh, I'll just do this for fun on the side.
Right. I love about that story is the fact that it's like, I don't know how to do this stuff. I'm like, and some people out there might be going, wait, didn't she work at Boeing in finance and have a college degree? And wait a second, hold on here. What's the, I love the fact that, we can all have disconnects at times.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We can all have a little disconnection at times as far as
it was like speaking English and Japanese. I mean, I did not, the finance skills from Boeing hadn't connected in my brain on how do I run a successful business, and how do I, what does finance look for a solo LLC and then a person with 4 employees instead of, 400,000 or, whatever it is.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
I get you. I hear you. All right. So with that, so you started, you started to go, okay, I've started to get the knowledge that I need. I started to get the connections that I need to start to fill in these gaps and whatnot. So it became like, all right, now, at some point in this journey now, we got to hire people. We got to start building this, the team's coming around for us. What was that like? What is it like now as far as being a leader? And again, I'm still fascinated by this idea of, as you translate again, we want Sucre to be a place that, of course, meets people's needs from the things that we look for from a job. But give me a bigger picture than that. Is there a bigger picture in your brain than that?
I think it's all been, I've been really lucky to just have conversations with people. All of my employees have been former clients we've just built relationship through, a 30-minute hair removal appointment that they're either already licensed or they're intrigued. And it's just a growth through that natural connection to say, hey, we are hitting it off. You have this interest in sugaring hair removal. Do you have any desire to join this team and come along on this wild ride with me, knowing that it's the Wild West out here and I'm not quite sure what I'm doing half the time. And it's been so great that all my employees have been really gracious with me as we've adopted strategies. They've been very understanding. They've been helpful throughout this whole thing. And it's been really organic, which has been the biggest thing. And I think it just goes back to just having genuine conversation and connection with people. And then the right people will find you and you'll find the right people that way.
Right. I love that you're bringing up something that has become, something I've been talking about a lot lately, and I think is so relevant to what's happening just now in just our world, and especially in the job related area and work environment. You mentioned two things. you said you built relationships. And I think that's one of the keys is, building relationships is so critically important. And what I loved about it is you said, you built relationships and you just said, hey, listen, you want to join this team. And just we're kind of genuine about it from the standpoint of, it's a little bit of the Wild West. We're going to figure it out as we go, but it's a cool place to be. And you want to be a part of it. I love that because here's the two things that come out. If you're listening in, to go, all right, I always like podcasts to have that component of, all right, what's some of my takeaway? And, I think we've already touched on one thing. If it hasn't resonated with you, I'm going to bring it out, in my opinion. You want to make sure that you have a purpose. And that was that fulfillment piece. It's like, what are we doing? Find that purpose. And, like was already shared, it's like that purpose wasn't there from a Boeing standpoint, even though a lot of the components were, but it still didn't lead to that fulfillment that really we need to have as humans. Right. And so that's kind of the first thing is find that purpose. The second thing is build relationships, because that's exactly where I kind of want to keep this conversation moving on is, and you already brought it up, the power of relationships does something really awesome. It's a really awesome, piece and foundation that we all need to build as business leaders and as owners and just even as team members. If you're listening, no matter where you're listening in from, what your perspective is. Last thing, then you alluded to it, and I'm going to frame it up this way: being genuine. Like I said, it's just like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have every answer, but this is a really awesome place and you should be a part of it. That's just genuine, and genuine attracts people. So when you build relationships with people and are genuine with people, they're like, listen, I don't expect perfection out of you.
Yeah.
I build trust with you. I do all these cool things that help to grow my experience with you, which then just, again, keeps fostering that trust component. I mean, it sounds, I don't want to stretch it too much, but I mean, kind of sounds like what you're doing and what you have been.
That's been the core of everything that I've always wanted to do, was either, and when it was just me, it was build community, build relationships within my community and really set down roots. And as it's just grown, it's just been, how can we be more than a 30-minute, hour-long hair removal appointment? It's let's connect with these people and really build, most of my clients that I see, I genuinely look forward to seeing them and talking to them. And they're like friends now, to where you are just really building, you're going deeper than just, hi, here I am, I'm ripping your hair out, see you again, please rebook, please, all of this, those numbers. It's like, how's your family? How's your, how is your dog that was sick? It goes so much deeper. And I think that's been a huge element of our success, is just really connection and building relationships genuinely too.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that you used a great word there, that connection word, again, so critical. If we're talking about trying to retain, again, we'll start to weave in a little bit of like numbers and start talking maybe a couple of little systems. So we'll bring in some of the nuts and the bolts, but nuts and bolts have to have life. What brings nuts and bolts to life? What makes them happen, right? So the nuts and bolts are, hey, we know client retention, we know staff retention is critically important to any business. You got to retain the guest, keep coming back. That increases productivity, that increases your sales. Although that machine that works with that, that we need client retention is the lifeblood of our business. Staff retention, that's the foundation of our business. People that want to stay a part of a team. But again, here's the key points: is those things happen from relationships, genuine, and then bringing in what you just shared, the connection part. That's what makes those. It's almost like if those are the engine, this is the fuel that feeds that engine. That's what goes into that, makes that work as far as that goes. So I think that's really important. Let's talk a little bit. Let's kind of dive in a little bit. Let's get a little bit numbers generated right now. Let's keep a little bit of a numbers focus for a second. Talk to me about, some of your key maybe some of the key critical numbers in your business that maybe right now you would say you're most proud of, because when we started, we were X and now we're Y?
Yeah. I think as a company as a whole, it's been our retail numbers. Usually we're running about like a 2 to 3% of our service sales were retail. Since we're going to strategies last month of October, we were hovering around 6 for most of the month, which is, double, almost triple what we were doing pre-strategies, which has been really great. And all of that has happened through implementing some of the happiness cards and just really connecting with it's not just trying to hit sales numbers. It's how can we genuinely educate our clients to say, hey, how is that product that you liked before? Do you need something different? And just, again, connecting on that deeper level, or saying, hey, I noticed you don't have any retail. Let's figure out why. Is it, do they already have products that they're using, or is it just that they hadn't been educated on it yet? And so that's definitely been our biggest as a team number that's jumped for us, was our retail percentage. But as a business, from my perspective as an owner, I initially, when I started the strategies, trying to figure out our cash flow plan and asking, okay, what are your general expenses? I gave, a number that I thought was pretty accurate. And when we did the math, it was our expenses were about double what I assumed. So it was this big mind blowing on like, how have I just been living under a rock and not getting a grasp on the business? And so since then, we've been able to build our cash reserves to be able to live through another COVID and like fully pay our staff and fully pay, keep the lights on, keep everything running. And that's been, as an owner, a huge win for me, just having a better grip on numbers as a whole, and then building up the reserves to be able to roll with the punches.
Right. Love it. And again, to go back to what I introduced at the very beginning, I introduced the fact that Aria is this year was a Momentum Award winner. And this speaks to what the momentum that we see. And this is, what she just shared is exactly that momentum. It's building up and working from, as she shared, going like in the area of retail, doubling, tripling where that retail was to where it is now. Going from the fact that when I really looked at it, what I recognized was the fact that at first I thought I had a grip on my expenses, to then discover when I really put pen to paper, they were twice what I thought, but not allowing that to be a hindrance, going, all right, well, we've got to take care of what we got to take care of. But then also in that whole process now, being able to meet the needs of the company. Again, we're talking about those expenses, that realization of, oh, here's where they are, but not only meet the needs of the company, but build up reserves that can sustain and give the company stability if we encounter, if we encounter those negative, influences again. You referenced COVID. Hey, if I got to be shut down again another 2 months, 3 months or something like that, I know we can survive this kind of thing. Whatever's going to come along, we got some ability to take some punches and still be all right. And so that's awesome. I mean, that's exactly why. If we want to know why she won a Momentum Award, it's because she's building, Sucre is building momentum in a really great way to build a healthier company.
Yeah. It's been really great, honestly. Just not having the tools before, I was a very reactive owner. I would wait till, November 1st to look at October and say, was this a good month or was it not a good month? There was zero preparation involved. I didn't know how to expect anything. My goal was always just do better than the month before, which there's so much more to it than just service sales being more than the previous month. Those critical numbers really do show the lifeblood of your business and how it's doing and where it can go. And so now to be a very proactive owner and say, great, no, I know what to expect for November, and I know what to expect for November 2023 as well. Like I'm looking 5 years out instead of a month behind, which has been the biggest takeaway for success. And I think the biggest kind of like trigger for our momentum of like that, this is what's started the momentum and to get the ball rolling. And now we're an avalanche coming.
Nice. Love it. I love that. And I love that descriptor. So we've set the table a little bit at the beginning of this conversation, certainly, no more than a little bit. We talked about fulfillment. We talked about genuine, talking about purpose. We talked about community, all those things. We shared the idea of, again, just your business from standpoint of some numbers and looking at it that way. Let's kind of join the two together then a little bit in the kind of this last part of our conversation today. We know that it takes, as we always say, here at Strategies, hey, listen, numbers are just a result of actions and behaviors and beliefs and experiences and just the total makeup, right? So numbers are just outcomes. Numbers are outcomes of what people do, and numbers of their movements and just participation and the whole thing, right? So talk to me a little bit about, because there might be people out there listening and going, man, I want to double my retail. You know what I mean? I want to triple my retail. I want to build up cash reserve. Yeah, we got to make a plan for those. Yes. And here's what we don't need to discuss. We understand there has to be, let me kind of give this in a nutshell. Both of those things require a system to make those happen. Meaning, we know we got to do X, Y, and Z. Think about it. If you're playing a board game, you got to know the rules of the game to play the game properly. So, for example, if I want to build up a cash reserve, I have to make a good financial plan, and you got to have a system to do that. If I want to have retail working well, I need to have the right system, meaning the right scripts, and we do this action, we do this action, and we do this. And this is what we say, and this is how we do it. Okay, so you got to have the system. What I'm more intrigued by, because a lot of people have systems, let's put it that way. There's a whole lot of workbooks out there and a whole lot of manuals out there that people write that have all the systems in there, but that doesn't necessarily equate to the right action or the right outcomes. We languish, in same old numbers month after month. So connect the dots with me, because again, the Momentum Award to me is, here's what I love about the Momentum Award is, yes, we look at the numbers and we can recognize and see we went from X to Y on this journey. And it's a great, that doubled or tripled or did whatever. I'm more fascinated by the momentum is what you did leadership wise, or what you guys do as a team that makes that happen. So connect with me then. What do you guys focus on? Let me ask the question this way. In your opinion, what's the secret ingredient? What's the secret sauce that brings the relationship and the experience or things like that? What's the secret sauce to make systems come to life that people engage and do?
I would have to say it's probably just being genuine. When I started working with Strategies, it was very much talking to my team and saying, hey, sorry for the past 4 years. I vowed to do better, and here's why I want to do better. So it's not just, it's explaining that I'm not just trying to have a better dollar number that's going into my bank account as an owner. I want all of us as a team to be more successful. Here's how we can get here, and showing the genuineness on this. Being humble, admitting that you didn't know it all and you will continue to not know it all, and then asking for their help, explaining the whys behind it. And I think as an owner, if you come to your teammates, your coworkers, your employees with just a really pure heart to say, hey, this is what I think we can do. Also, do you have input? I want to bring them in on this journey with me. This isn't me just coming from my coaching meeting being like, all right, here's what we're doing. This is the end all be all, get on board or ship out. It's very much like, all right, let's try this. Do you guys have any input? What do you want to do? How can you help me through this? How can I help you through this? And just really taking your team along with you in that journey. And it's not just, I work with a coach and that's my coach. She's here to help all of us as a business, as an entirety, as an entity. Let's do this together and just be really genuine in that, in those goals.
I love it. I think you hit the word, because I love listening to, what you share there is, again, you started with that genuine, you started with getting people involved, you started with, that big piece, but you said the word at the end to me that stood out most was you created a feeling of together in this process. And I think that is, and I'm going to add the other word to it, which you used at the beginning, and we've used throughout this, is you created a genuine together, not just lip service together. I think that could be, for some people that might be listening, maybe that's the secret for some, is because some could be sitting there going, well, I talk about how we're always together and we're together and we're together. And it's not that you don't believe that. I'm not saying that lip service together means that you're just saying it and you're lying. I don't mean it that way, but lip service just from the standpoint of, I may say it, but what are the rest of my actions that show it,
Yeah.
And I think that you kind of hit on that, where it's like, I want my team involvement in decisions. Doesn't mean that there are times, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, there are probably times where you just have to say, you know what, those are great ideas, but yet we still need to go this direction. So I want to appreciate that, and you help me craft that more. But here, you're still the leader of that team that still has to, kind of keep the vision going forward the way you want it to go forward. But that together is that genuine together that is like, my other actions that surround this also show that we're building this together, and that there's a greater reason than just, again, a number outcome or a dollar outcome. The greater reasons are the whys we do this, and how this can benefit, ourselves, how this can benefit maybe people around us, whatever that might happen to be that you're doing. But does that sound fair?
That's great. No, totally. I think we're all in this together.
Right.
Who sings that song? I don't know. We're all in this together.
You're my first singer on a podcast. I love it.
Sorry, I'm not better at it.
No, it's great. Are you kidding me? I love it. I love it. It's genuinely you. I love it. That's what people are attracted to right there. You got a glimpse right there. For those listening, you got a glimpse. Like, I want to work for that person. And you know what? And again, I love the fact that, I think that does illustrate, that's what we all want to create, is a place that people go, I want to work there. I want to be a part of that culture. I want to be a part of that community. And I think that's the power of really today's conversation, has been just, look at what happens when you do. So again, look at what happens when you make sure that you're looking at things and understanding and growing. Say, I got to put the right systems in place, and I got to have the right objectives. But look at what happens when you build relationships. Look at what happens when you build genuine relationships, and it creates community, and it creates great experiences that you do not have to be perfect as far as that goes, but we get great outcomes as far as that goes. So as we start to kind of wrap up today, let me ask this question. What's the next hurdle for you? What's the next challenge? What's the next mountain we're going to climb?
Gosh, the next mountain we're going to climb, I think it's just more growth. Again, as a team, not like physically in numbers, but my word for 2023, I've already decided, is to delegate. And I want to really find the strengths of my employees and let them really live into those strengths. So do you love social media? Great, run it. It's yours. I want them. Do you love merchandising? Fine. How can I help you dive into that? And yes, I want them to be fulfilled in sugaring, and maybe that's all they're looking for, and that's totally fine as well. But if they're seeking fulfillment in other ways that are maybe more creative than just simply ripping hair out, how can I foster that in them? So how can I delegate some things on the back end that really hone into who they are and who they want to be, and just really walk with them in that process.
Love it. You use the word delegate. You didn't say delegate. I said delegate. You said delegate, which would be correct. Mine would not be. But you use that word. In my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to also say too, what I'm hearing too is you're building people's careers. And I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
really important is you're looking to say, how can I better? I want you to have, I want to delegate pieces out there that you take ownership of and that you're more empowered around. And again, that leads to people going, I have a career in this company, not just a job here. And again,
Yeah.
it's fine to say, it's perfectly fine. And you already put this out there. It's perfectly fine to say, hey, all I want to do is sugar. Great. That's okay. But
Yeah.
for those that want more, giving them I love your word for 2023, because that gives growth for people and gives opportunities. And I think that's the best thing any of us can do that are in the position of a business leader or things like that is help our people grow around and find greater purpose and career and things like that. So that's fantastic. I love it.
Totally.
I love it. I
Thanks.
love it. I love it. This has been awesome. Aria, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've had a good time because I have.
It's been great. I got to sing. I was happy.
That's right. Got like one bar, but we're going to get more. Next time, we're going to get some
Next
more.
time.
Next time, we're going to
Perfect.
get some more.
You
So
got it.
definitely have to follow up again because I'm intrigued to find out, maybe we'll do this again a year from now and find out how that delegate and how what that looked like over the course of some time and what that's shaping into. But I think this is fantastic. So on behalf of Aria and myself and the whole strategies team, thank you guys for joining in. Thanks for listening to this podcast, and we will talk to you again soon. Have a great day.
Thanks again for listening to the Beauty Business Strategies podcast. If you like this episode, be sure to hit follow, and please share the episode link with anyone who you think could benefit from today's content. To learn more about how strategies can help create more fun, profit, and growth potential for you, your company, and your team, we invite you to schedule a free 60-minute strategy session by clicking the direct link in the description of this episode. There you'll also find links to our wide array of coaching, seminar, and learning opportunities, all of which can be found at strategies.com.